What's going on, guys? It is VirtualMicrowave Gaming here, and I wanted to do a commentary today on why Destiny died. And a lot of people still play it, but there's not much hype around it anymore, and there was when it first came out. So I would say that at this stage it is dying, or it has died for most people. And there are a lot of reasons for this. The first being the leveling system was not very stable. When you look at games like Call of Duty, it's a very stable leveling system. Every level will be a set amount of XP, and you know how far you've got to go, and you always know how easy or hard it is to get to a certain level. But in Destiny it was very easy to get to level 20, and then past that it was very inconsistent. You would have to grind for things. Sometimes you would get engrams that would help you, and sometimes you wouldn't, and it would be very difficult to actually level up past level 20 to get to level 30. And my second point is the storyline in the game was pretty weak. I found that the narration was quite weak. Peter Dinklage is a very high grade actor, but his voice acting didn't cut it in Destiny, and the cutscenes were few and far in between. There were only about 5 in the entire game, and for a game that had $500 million spent on it, this is not enough. Thirdly, boss battles were very tedious. You would sit in a corner shooting at a boss for 10 minutes and then it would collapse, and there was no variation in the attacks. In other games involving boss battles that I've played, when you take away about 20% of a boss's health, or 30 or 40 or 50, just a set amount, the boss will change his tactics drastically, forcing you to adopt a new style of play and forcing you to use all of your abilities in the game. But in Destiny it was just sit there and shoot the boss, and they only had 2 or 3 attacks. If you take Valist Arc, for example, he has a laser minigun and the Quake attack. If you don't know what the Quake attack is, it is the shoulder-mounted rocket launcher that is heat-seeking, and then they'll have a melee attack, which is always one shot. Also, the player versus player was very imbalanced. Supers, you can find complaints about all of them somewhere. I feel that there are imbalanced supers and they need fixing. And the weapon balance is appalling. Everyone uses an auto rifle or occasionally one of the others, and that's if they're using their primary, because some of the secondary weapons are extremely overpowered. For example, the shotguns and the fusion rifles are often used more than the primary weapons, which shows a lack of weapon balancing. There are a lack of game modes based around objectives. There is only one in the base game, which is Control. The other 3 are all deathmatches: Skirmish, Clash and Rumble. There is too much of an emphasis on teamwork in player versus player, and I know a lot of people say there should be teamwork in first person shooters, but I don't believe that's true for gaming anymore, because Call of Duty was hugely successful. It's probably one of the most successful first person shooters to date. That was all about you on your own, and you could go on a streak, whereas in Destiny the ratio of time to kill to reaction time makes it impossible to take on 2 people like you can in Call of Duty. In Call of Duty you can drop them before they react, but in Destiny they'll turn around and obliterate you because they can do twice the damage. And at the end of the game, even if you get a 5 KD, you can get worse loot than someone who gets a 0.1, and it's completely random, to the best of my knowledge, and that annoys a lot of people. I've heard so many complaints about it. Bungie seem to make no effort to fix it, unless they have fixed it in the past week, because I haven't played Destiny for about a week. One of my other points is that bounties were pretty weak in Destiny. There was a lack of variety, and all the bounties were very easy to complete. It took about 10 minutes if you had a strategy. But when I heard there were going to be bounties, I imagined it to be more like you go to a certain place in free roam and the bounty would have a storyline. It would take a long time to complete, and there would be a boss battle, you know, a good boss battle, not a tedious one. For example, you go to the Cabal land tank in the Valley of the Kings, and inside would be a big boss surrounded by Cabal. Or you would go to the Vault of Glass, and there would be a really large Minotaur that would be surrounded by Vex who would come from the Vault of Glass. So something with a storyline. And the Queen's Wrath bounties, I was excited for them when I heard about them. I got on Destiny and they were exactly the same as the normal bounties. One of the normal bounties is kill 10 fallen mages or ultras, and the Queen's Wrath equivalent is kill 10 fallen mages. It's just too similar to the base game bounties. Penultimately, there was overhyping for Destiny, and when you overhype a game you expect every little aspect to be perfect, because you've spent so much time telling your friends how good the game is that you've told them so many things that just won't be true, that if they aren't true you're going to be disappointed. If you overhype a game, if you believe it's going to be perfect, a game will never be perfect. That's what happened with Destiny. People were disappointed. People said it was a bad game. It's not a bad game, but it is compared to the expectations of the majority of the community. And finally, the matchmaking in Destiny is very flawed. You can play in multiplayer as a level 20 and be placed with a lot of level 3s, and the team that is fighting those level 3s will be all level 20 pluses, and there is no way that a level 3 with their lack of ability is going to be able to take on a level 20. And also, on the weekly events, there was no matchmaking and you had to find friends, and that's difficult on a next-gen console because most of my friends have not purchased a next-gen console, and the ones that have, only one of them, I believe, is at the level 2 Vault of Glass, and so I only have one friend that I can do the Vault of Glass with, and it's borderline impossible to complete the Vault of Glass with only 2 people. That is all for today. Please subscribe to Virtual Microwave Gaming if you enjoy my content. Please like the video or go to another video.
Heavy
Bye.
ammo available.